Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's 9 p.m. on 9 p.m. Pacific, and they call me Chris of the Northwest. And we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're trying to figure out what to do with all that turkey, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
I show up every week and you still call me a turkey, I tell you. Tonight we're talking about the new AdventureHub platform from AdventureSmart. Big news just around the corner. And of course, to help us have that conversation, we're welcoming back show favorite Sandra Riches from AdventureSmartBC. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be back. Everyone's looking fed of turkey, I think. I don't know. Do you? I didn't.
That's a nice way of saying we look fat. I like that.
No. Fulfilled, maybe.
And
well fed? Yeah.
Good to see you. That's maybe what I meant to say.
There you go. And it's good
Sandra,
to see our. Go ahead.
like-
Yeah. It's also good to see our live audience. That chat's window scrolling by. So, of course, share your thoughts with us right in there. But before we get in, we have to bring in our Grinchy Gibbon. Some say he has more moves than U-Haul. And others say his advice is free and worth what you pay for it. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
You will always get your money's worth. And Sandra's not wrong. There are a few extra pounds on here.
And your Thanksgiving was an extra month before ours.
I know. I've had some time to work it off.
Right.
I just chose not to. All right. It's all good. It's all good. Great to have you back, Sandra. We always enjoy having you here on the podcast.
Thank you.
And we know you can roll with the jokes. So,
Or she wouldn't come back.
or she wouldn't have come back.
That's right. That's right. I would not be here if I couldn't.
Awesome. Well, before we get into more jokes and some Adventure Smart chat, let's throw out our quick reminder, as we often do at this point in the podcast, that we appreciate the support of all of you patrons, every single one of you. And we want to give a special shout out to our corporate Denali level patrons. And the first one of those would be Land Sharks, our first corporate Denali level sponsor we're going to speak of tonight. They want to remind you that it's holiday trackable tag time at Land Sharks. One free frosty holiday trackable tag with every $25 spent online or in store. So if you're planning to do some gift purchasing through Land Sharks, now is the time to do that. I know they happen to have some pretty good books, lots of great cache supplies, all kinds of good stuff there. So.
Are the trackables frosty just simply because it's cold?
You know what? You're going to have to go to landsharkz.ca and see for yourself. There's a splash page right on the front that explains it all. So there you go. Our other corporate Denali level sponsor. Well, that would be Gold Country Geotourism. Visit exploregoldcountry.com. Learn about the geotours. Learn about the region. Don't forget to download the app. And, you might even be able to use the AdventureHub to plan some of your adventures when you go to Gold Country. So we'll talk more about that later. But again, that's exploregoldcountry.com or check them out on Facebook, Explore Gold Country. And if you want to know more about being a supporter of this podcast, for the price of a cup of coffee a day, you could also support some podcasters who need your support today. And you can do that. Yes.
You say, have you bought coffee lately?
Yeah.
You can support a lot
For
of
less than the
podcasters
price of
for
coffee. Yeah. No kidding. But hey, if you want to find out all about supporting us and all the perks and benefits there are of being a patron supporter, and this is the time of year that the podcast boys are in the back room figuring out, what are we going to do for our patrons this year? And, there's probably something coming. So hang tight, patrons. And if you're not a patron yet, look into it. And you can find all of that out by clicking on the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. I almost made it all the way through that.
Well, we just want to prove to you that this is a live podcast, that we don't record and edit it ahead of time. What you see is what you get. It's just like stopping and talking to us at one of those expensive coffee places you go to.
There you go. And GSM times 2 reminded me it's a cup of coffee a month, not a day. If you're buying a cup of coffee a day, then you have a problem like I do.
Well, I know people who buy 2 and 3 of those cups of coffee a day.
Yowzas.
Yeah.
That's a nice trip at the end of the year.
You know, it's a serious caffeine problem and a financial difficulty at the same time.
Yeah. All right.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
Oh.
You deal with your own finances
Well,
and your own addictions.
remember what we said about my advice earlier. So
But now it's time for the glow.
Ooh.
That, my friends, is the geocaching log of the week.
We don't even get to ask anymore. You're just going to tell us.
I asked last time I was on, and no, they just said sorry, too late.
Fine.
Well, I appreciate the effort. Thank you very much. But when you're 25 minutes into the podcast and then you ask it, see, look, Doramore understands. Okay. Next week, I'll ask. What is a glow? So whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can send an email or a recording in your very own voice. And that's important. You need to do it in your own voice. Feedback at cachingandw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC. Again, in your own voice, or have someone read it for you. It's okay. And show us how you glow.
That's right. We want to hear it in your own voice because otherwise you're stuck with some loser reading it. And here I go. It says, I am submitting Rock Girl 9's log. This is GSM times 2 sent this in. Submitting Rock Girl 9's log for GC10GGG. The cache is called As Time Permits Again. As a glow. He says to log this cache, a geocacher prints out a free 1-hour parking permit and deposits it in a pouch on the back of the pay and display machine. FYI, I met Rock Girl 9 the day before at the GIF event I hosted. So, Rock Girl 9's log says, I was looking for today's geocache. I saw this on the map with the 88 favorite points, so I had to read it. What? I get to have my geocache name printed on an official parking permit and be at the water. I was on my way. After getting all excited like a little kid to see my name printed out and taking a picture of it, I put it in the windshield and took my dog Montana out to explore. We walked around for about 30 minutes. These are all new smells for her, so she was excited, pulling me every which way, checking everything out. After walking partway out on the dock for a picture, I walked her down the ramp to the water so she could get her feet wet. She walked in about knee-high, and just as she always has back in Illinois in the massive rivers and lakes I fish in, she took a drink. Much to her surprise, this is not the fresh water she's used to drinking when out on adventures with Mommy. The look on her face when that water hit her tongue was priceless. My poor baby, LOL. And I've never seen a dog shake their head in disgust before that moment. Favorite point awarded, 1, because my geocache name was printed on official paper. 2, you brought me to water, which makes my heart happy. 3, Montana got to experience the difference between Illinois water and California water. Again, my poor baby. And 4, because you have 88 favorite points. And 9 is my favorite number, so I'm making it 89. Thanks for the cache and the experience. It was very hard for me to let my parking slip go, but it is safely tucked away in its spot. You should treasure it.
Oh, so very nice. Of course, we will treasure that.
Yeah.
Not that we see it, but I've got a picture of it along with the email. I'll have to share that.
Cool. Neat. Yeah, that's a cool sounding
Yeah, isn't it?
cache. I like
That's
that.
creative. Sounds creative and
Yeah.
fun.
It's pretty neat.
Hey, folks, if you want to join into tonight's cache, use the hashtag SMART. That's the SMART hashtag. If you want to add something to tonight's chat. And of course, you can use the hashtag FATAS if you want to bring up something in the after show. But we do have some news tonight. And the first one comes from space.com. Ooh, it comes from space.
News from space. There you go. Well, powerful cannibal solar burst will hit Earth tonight. Well, it was nice knowing you all.
Yeah.
Uh, widespread auroras predicted. Okay, very cool. This is published about 13 hours ago. 13 hours ago. So, like tonight, or
Yeah,
like last
actually,
night?
yes, 11:30.
11:30 tonight in Pacific.
Well,
Okay.
no, I mean the date being November 30th
Okay.
is when it's going to hit. So it's going to hit tonight. Like as we're doing the podcast.
I guess we'll get into this story a little bit more and learn about it. Or I could just keep making it up. I don't know.
Either way.
Strong geomagnetic storm conditions are predicted with aurora displays possible even at mid latitudes.
Anything yet?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Bummer. All right. I may leave mid podcast. Anyways, aurora chasers around the world are eagerly awaiting the arrival of a super hot plasma eruption known as a coronal mass ejection. I'm sorry, I just changed the rating on the podcast. That will slam into Earth tonight. The rapid earthbound CME left the sun on November 29th during a powerful M9.8 class solar flare eruption. There's the previous one the day earlier. And that's the previous one the day earlier is a little bit slower. This one's catching up with it, which is why they're referring to it as a cannibal solar burst, because it's going to eat up the other one and then be twice as big. So
Or like
very, very
animal
cool.
coming over the mountains. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah. If it strikes as predicted, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration forecasts strong G3 magnetic storm conditions with an impressive aurora forecast for the U.S. and I would assume for Canada. The most extreme level can cause complete high-frequency radio blackouts on the entire sunlit side of the Earth, lasting several hours. Yeah, that's where I was going to go with this, because that's often disruptive for us geocachers.
Bingo. So if you can't find a cache either today, tomorrow, you've got an excuse, right?
Mhm.
It was the sun.
There you go. The sun magnetic eruption or ejection was in my eyes.
Mhm.
Yes.
There you go. So anyhow, very cool. So that is always really neat. I always look forward to when there's a big aurora event like that, the next day checking out Instagram and seeing all the amazing photos people got.
Right.
I have tried in the past. I have not yet successfully gotten an aurora photo, so we'll see.
I
Yeah.
haven't been able to see one. There's times it's supposed to, show up and it doesn't. There's clouds for some reason here in the Northwest. I can't figure that out. But
Yeah.
I've yet to see one at my house. So I'm still looking forward to it. In fact, tonight I'll go out and peek again. It was pretty cloudy today, but
Yeah, I don't know. When I was out front just before the podcast, it was snowing here, so I don't think I'm gonna have any
Yeah.
chance of seeing the aurora.
Kitty Quest wants to know if she can blame it for her DNF yesterday. Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
because it came from the sun yesterday.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It works for me.
Oh.
You have our blessing to do that.
Brian Link says no.
Yeah.
You know what?
Well,
It's okay. You know what, Kitty Quest? It's fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go edit that DNF log saying it wasn't me. It was a CME.
That's right. I'm okay with that. In other news, speaking of celestial events, the December solstice is just around the corner. I know you said that December starts tomorrow. Well,
December starts tomorrow.
already, yeah. And within that month is the solstice. Now, if you find 12 geocaches, that's the equivalent of one per month of the year, right?
Mhm.
If you find them between December 17th and December 23rd, you will earn a unique souvenir. And if you're watching the video portion of the podcast, you might get a hint of what it may look like.
You can see the unique souvenir.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So they're doing that a little bit differently. Normally it's like find a geocache or attend an event on that weekend and you would get the souvenir. This time it's a range of dates to find a total of 12. I like that. It's cool.
I think it's nice. Here's a, over a period of time, go find 12 go find 12 geocaches and you
Mhm.
earn the souvenir rather than you have to do it on this specific date.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, at the end of day on the 23rd, like most good college students, be cramming in your 12 logs.
There will be some. There will
At
be some.
11:59.
That's right.
Well, that's isn't that a Saturday or Sunday, the 23rd? I can't remember.
23rd is a Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. No problem.
So there
Cool.
you have it.
Very cool. Lots of great stuff in the chat going on too, you guys. We'll some of this stuff you guys should be flagging as FATAS so we can talk about it later, but
Exactly.
we'll see what we can do. All right.
But first, we're going to talk with Sandra, I think.
We are.
We are.
All right. So
So who wants to introduce Sandra? I mean, we're all going to fight over it.
I welcomed her earlier. It's your turn.
Okay.
there you go, Chris.
Sandra, thank you so much for joining us. There's maybe one person who doesn't quite know who you are. Would you take just a moment, introduce yourself? I mean, you keep coming back, so apparently you like us.
Apparently I do. And yes, I do. Happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation. Glad to be back.
Thank you.
I am, for anyone who's new joining your show tonight, or a reminder for those who have heard me go on and on and on and on before, Sandra Riches is my name, and I'm based in British Columbia, Canada. I'm the executive director for a program that is supported by the BC Search and Rescue Association, hence the banner above my head. And I manage a program called BC AdventureSmart. It's all about outdoor education, personal preparedness, what to do in an emergency, how to prevent it from happening, ideally, but also what to do in those emergencies, no matter if you're geocaching, backcountry skiing, snowmobiling, paddling, hiking, biking, mountain biking. That list goes on. No matter what you're doing out there, we want you to be safe, and we provide resources for you, outdoor education, online opportunities, face-to-face, tangibles, the list goes on, so that we can provide you with what you need to be safe outside, in a nutshell. And so that we all can collectively in our province, throughout the country, and wherever you like to play outside in the world, that you can be prepared for that and help reduce the number and severity of search and rescue calls wherever you live on this beautiful globe.
That's
right. Before we jump into the rest of the topic we have for tonight, maybe just an opportunity to Sandra, to thank you and thank all of the volunteers who perform the search and rescue activities. It's been another busy summer. Maybe we'll talk later about SAR stats and such, but and still going on. I saw there was a story on Instagram about a plane crash that did not end well from the SAR group's attempts to get in there. But even so, boy, we're seeing so much in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, obviously with you, we're talking specifically British Columbia, but this extends across Washington, Oregon, and Idaho and such. And we're seeing such high volumes of folks who want to come here, experience the mountains and the beauty of the area, but they're just I don't know. I guess maybe they can make use of tonight's topic.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think that was an excellent segue, Jay. That was like you've done that before many times. It was beautifully set up.
I wanted to lead with the thanks because that's mostly volunteer work that is search and rescue groups and organizations. And you have a huge team of volunteers just doing the AdventureSmart program, and they all do an amazing job. So very thankful.
Thank you. And you hit the nail on the head. Sorry. Yeah, they're busy all the time, which is, there's pros and cons to it all. There really is. The volunteers, they are all volunteers. The 3,400 members in British Columbia, they're all volunteers. Every single one of them. I'm paid to do what I do. I work under this umbrella, literally. BC SARA umbrella. There's only 6 of us who do. All the people who respond to those calls that you talked about, Jay, are volunteers. So they're leaving their friends, their family to go help others. But they're passionate people too, and they're dedicated, highly trained and skilled. So they're ready to roll. They're ready to go at the drop of a hat, 24/7. But it's busy times all around, definitely.
Wow, I had no idea there were 3,400 volunteers.
Just in BC.
Just in BC. That is That blows my mind. Wow.
78 search and rescue groups,
Mhm.
individual groups throughout the province, 3,400 members, and about 500 are MITs, which we call members in training. So
Okay.
on average, on an annual basis, there's about 500 that are still in training. And that training lasts a couple of years. There's high standards to meet and pass that test. And people stick it out and do it to become full-time members to support their community. But you're right, 3,400 members to respond to about 1,500 calls a year just in BC.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. Sandra, I wanted to thank you because you come on and you talk about resources that are available in BC, but the protocols apply to everyone around the world. So thank you for teaching us how to be safe, how to stay in communication with our loved ones, and how to think ahead so that we don't need those wonderful 3,400 people to leave their warm house to come and rescue us.
You're very welcome. I've been fortunate to do what I've been doing for almost 20 years. And prior to that, as a park ranger, working in the field, literally in the field on the ground, helping our community first responders then too. So my career's been colorful, lengthy, and it continues to grow. So I'm grateful to be able to have this opportunity because I get to work with like-minded people. You love the outdoors.
Mhm.
You all like to play out there. We like to talk. We all do. We
Mhm.
wouldn't be here if we didn't.
Right.
And that gives us a chance to engage with the outdoor rec community. And no matter, again, if you're a geocacher or an extreme backcountry snowmobiler, that platform is required and offered to all of us so that we can all hopefully get on the right page before we head out there to have fun.
You know, I think we could talk about this and how great these people are all evening long. But tonight we wanted to focus on something new. You've or your group have started up something called AdventureHub. Can you tell us what it is, how it works, where to find it?
In a nutshell, because you all know I can go on, but in a nutshell, the introductory explanation of it is it's an online custom-built platform for outdoor enthusiasts to explore new possibilities. It offers more than 450 outdoor recreation listings. There are outdoor recreation businesses, organizations, search and rescue groups, tourism, that list goes on. And that allows you to have a one-stop shop, one place to go to plan, to prepare, to explore those new possibilities. Maybe where do you want to go geocaching in Kitimat in British Columbia, or Atlin, or Port Renfrew, or over in Tofino. All these beautiful corners and pockets and places in the province that allows us to play, accessibly play. This sets you up for success at the very beginning of that planning, of that thinking, that dreaming, if you will. That's dreaming of where we're going to geocache, where are we going to paddle to geocache, where are we going to hike to geocache. The hub will allow you to do that. There's 24 different categories to look up. Geocaching is one of them. Had to make sure that was there.
Thank you.
And 23 others. And there's 8 different regions in the province that we've identified the province into chunks. So people can think northern, southern, island, sea to sky, Whistler. You know, we've chunked it up easily to find. Or you can just go to the individual category that interests you. Maybe it's apps. Maybe it's youth. Maybe it's training. Maybe it's avalanche awareness. Maybe it's camping. Maybe it's podcasts. So there's so much in there that allows you to think outside of your normal adventure box and or stick to what you love and what you know, and maybe you'll find something along the way. What's also all throughout the hub, because I would be not doing a good job if I didn't, it's also littered with BC AdventureSmart resources, safety messaging, links to our webinars, links to our events. That's not the forefront of the hub though, but it's definitely there on every single page. So it was very strategic, and it's in there so that if you've come to the hub for the first time and you're looking up tourism and backcountry guiding, you need a guide, and that's just a category. And in and amongst your exploring there, you'll see an AdventureSmart website, and then you'll also see a webinar that we did with a backcountry guide. Like, we've aligned it so nicely that it all falls into place as you maneuver and journey through the hub. You'll come across what we feel will benefit you. So we feel it's definitely a website to bookmark. Definitely.
Definitely. Well, it sounds comprehensive, and I mean, you've given this very well described overview. It's almost too much to take in, so maybe we'll break it into bite-sized pieces. Maybe we'll start with who's the intended audience? Who is the Adventure Hub for?
It's for the same audience that we're trying to educate with all of our messaging. It's for any enthusiast who's heading out there, newcomer, new to the outdoors, getting exposed to outdoor recreation, someone who's versed and well exposed to outdoor recreation, someone who already lives in a community that eats, breathes, and sleeps outdoor recreation. We all have our mountain towns where we know that's just what everybody does. They don't know anything different. It's all we all do. It's for everyone. It allows you to go deeper down that journey of looking for new opportunities to expand on either your training, your awareness, a new place to set up that tent, a new club to join, that so you can get that mentorship to help you grow in the outdoors. So it really meets the needs of all users and all ages. You know, we have a youth section. Kids can go there and just check out the youth section. Families could hit the geocaching category and really have a great opportunity to see what they could learn there. Pop over to the apps category and see what you might find. There's some great camping podcasts, actually. As I looked and researched to prepare for the creation of the hub, man, did I come across some awesome spots to check out and learn more myself. So, you know, what's also exciting that I find exciting, it's a dynamic platform. It will grow because we plan on adding more to it. And we also know it's already happening. Others are calling us up, emailing, texting, Sandra, how do we be a part of the hub? Well, you can do that, no problem. Send me A, B, and C, 1, 2, 3, and I will add you to. So they're all vetted. We make sure they fit into a category. They provide a service for outdoor recreation enthusiasts to gain. Could be a great outdoor store in your community that's down the street and around the corner. And then if we feel it fits in, well, we're going to add it because we need to help you shop and find that guide and take that training. That's what we're trying to help you do.
Fantastic. Now, I'm pulling up the Adventure Hub right here. And in fact, we have a question from Skyhawker that says, a quick search for Adventure Hub gave me about a dozen sites using this name. So how can someone use it? How can someone find this?
If you go to the BC Search and Rescue Association website, that's where it's linked under our outdoor education section. So we also looked up Adventure Hub too. There could be a categorization of that being a community adventure hub. It could be a location in a city or a town or a region of wherever you live. This is a unique online custom-built adventure hub that allows you to gather virtually, I guess, come to this collective spot online. It's not a physical space by any means. We don't have an Adventure Hub office. You can't come to Sandra's office. Sandra doesn't have an office anymore. But it's only an online location that allows you to have that Adventure Hub location, either on your phone or on your computer or your screen device. And it allows you to, as you can see here, you're scrolling through a number of the listings. And, you know, I find the best way to come into this is to go to those categories, see what attracts you, pick a category, and have a peek, right? You could also use the search field. If you know exactly the name of an organization, you want to see if it's in there, you can type it into the search field, or you could pick a region of the province you'd like to explore next and check out and see what's available in those regions of the province.
Fantastic. I love that.
And each listing, if you'd like to open up any listing, if your viewers are actually watching.
Well, look at this, caching in the Northwest right here.
How did that come up so easily?
I don't know.
Look at that go. Look at that go. Awesome. So here's a great example of one listing. Just happens to be this one, which is perfect. So it allows you to have the name, the address, contact information, the primary tag that it is under, which is geocaching, There's some general information in there. We have additional resources. That's where you can see that we've got additional resources that link you to our previous AdventureSmart Outdoor Ed. And what's exciting, as I'm speaking to all of you here today, if you guys want more stuff on this, just fire me an email. And I will add either any YouTube links that you have, special podcasts, hint, that you'd like to add to it, anything here that you feel that you would like to grow your listing, we can do that. So this is a basic view of what yours is looking like now. But anyone on the hub can contact me and say, Sandra, we've got recruitment on this day. We've got special events on this day. We have an awesome YouTube channel we'd love to put in there. We've got a great YouTube video we'd love to put in there. We have a promo ad that we'd like to put up. So we can grow that for you.
Fantastic. There you go. Skyhawker says, looks like a great resource. I think it would be better if we could go, if it could get to it directly outside of the BCSARA. Sorry, I'm not as good as that saying that as you are, but give me a little practice.
BC Sara.
BC Sara. There you go. Bookmark it and you'll jump to it whenever you need it.
Well, there's that, and I mean, it's still fairly new resource, so over time it'll grow in the SEO. ratings.
Exactly. Good point, Jay. It's new. We only launched it October 25th. So it's new. It's new. And the idea is to spread the word, which is exactly what we're doing now. We did a media release. I've plugged it within the SAR community, search and rescue. I've plugged it outside of the search and rescue community through media groups on our socials. Others have shared it quite a bit too. We had some group, I think it's Back 40 training from Saskatchewan. So that's outside of BC for those who aren't aware. And it's a group in Saskatchewan that said, you know what, a lot of people from our province travel to BC. We will, in our province, refer enthusiasts from our province to the Adventure Hub so that they can get ready to go to BC, because we know they're going to go. And that's the whole idea of the hub. We thought it would expand to that. It's already happening, so it's very exciting.
There you go.
Thank you.
GSM times 2 says all of Sandra's interviews on the podcast should be highlighted. I agree. They're all very good.
And that's doable. I know I'm laughing and I'm very appreciative, but there's an opportunity as one great example that's doable. Yes.
Awesome.
How is this different from current outdoor education resources?
Great question. So you've heard me, and I've shared so much of what we do here about trip planning, training, and taking the essentials, about causations, about data, about our model of data-driven insights, partnerships, initiative. You've heard all of that. The trip plan app, the 3 Ts, that's gone on and on and on. This is a little bit of a unique situation, and based on that, I'd like to step back 20 years. So over the last 20 years, for me, for the staff I've had along the way that have worked with me, which has been wonderful, the volunteers, like Jay mentioned, we've been hearing from the public all along at trailheads, special events, conferences, speaking notes when we've been keynote, online, radio. It's been happening for 20 years. I thought about this a few months ago when we were getting the hub going, and I'm thinking, people have been asking for this for almost 2 decades already. They've been saying, where can I find that training, that you keep telling us to take? Where do I find it? Where do I find those maps that you keep telling me I should take and learn how to use? Where do I find the maps? And then where the heck do I get the training to learn map and compass? Where do I take those avalanche courses that you keep telling me to take? Where do I go? Who are the providers? So we've opened a door, and then people have been asking us for almost 2 decades, what's the next step? Where do I go to find those things you keep telling us to find? So here it is in a nice little snowball, if you will, in this beautiful hub that will grow, but still starts off pretty healthy with more than 450 listings of where you can start for those next steps. So that's kind of how it all came about initially. And it is different than the messaging, because the messaging is what you should do and how to prevent something. The hub is a spot to find those places to explore, to find the gear that you need, to learn a little bit more about resources out there that will support your activities. We're going to set you up for success on the safety side. The hub's going to help you find, where do I paddle? Where do I rent that canoe? Where do I geocache? How do I find Jay? Et cetera, et cetera. So that's what the hub's about.
Where do I view the aurora?
That might be left to Jay, but okay. Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Turn on the J beacon. No, not yet. You have like a land monkey light like Batman had.
That's right. I was actually looking for the aurora, but my window faces the wrong way now that I think about it, so I wouldn't even see it if it was going on.
All right. Well, it sounds like just a huge variety of resources there to search and find it through. But maybe there's even more could be added. If an organization wanted to be added to the Adventure Hub, how do they go about that? Is it possible?
It is. Don't text me directly, but I do have a way for that you can reach me. You can reach me by emailing listings@bcsara.com. So it's listings@bcsara.com. That will eventually get to me. It's just one way I can track, and that allows me to see what you have to. Thank you. Perfect. bcsara.com. Wonderful. And then you can let me know what organization is, the outdoor recreation business, what it offers. Let me know the name, phone number, email, contact, send me your logo. These are all the things that I'm going to ask you anyway, so I might as well tell you right now.
Yeah.
And a general blurb of the information, any added videos, anything else, and we'll set you up, and then I can add that to the hub. And it takes a little time. I get them coming in here and there, and I spend some time at certain times of the week and add them up. But we have a look at them. We did give them a little vet to see that they're going to fit in one of our categories, and then away we go. And if anyone's out there and you see yourself already on the hub and you'd like to have any additions, or if I've made a mistake and there's something missing, maybe it's a spelling error or something, you can do the same. But please send those to errors@bcsara.com. And Sandra will get those too.
There you go. So you've given a lot of great stuff that people can send if they would like to be listed. What does it cost to be listed on the hub?
0, 0, and 0.
Ooh.
What?
There's no cost to anyone on the hub. There's no cost to anyone to list. There's no cost to anyone to add anything to their listing. That's what's really exciting. And I'm glad you asked that, because I don't think to say that, which is going to make me think for the future. Thanks, Jay. That it's all free of charge. What we do with AdventureSmart via BCSARA is all free of charge. All of our outdoor education, our events, our webinars, everything's free of charge. And the hub's included in that. And what we find exciting about the hub is you all have individual pages. You all have a listing. You can add to it whatever you want. If they want to learn more, then they can click on your website and head over, which I hope they do. That's why we've created this. Or they can get the synopsis right there. So everybody has a page that can help them shine and promote. You can promote it. You can, there's so many opportunities for us and everyone who's listed. So again, there's no charge to anyone.
That's great.
That is amazing. Well, Sandra, you must have spent hours, days, weeks, months working on this. I mean, I assume you're the one who put it together, right?
The short answer is yes, and it was not a short time to put it together. Let's just say Sandra was busy this summer.
Yeah.
Yes, all summer. Yes, and pre and post, but yes.
Very impressive.
That's a lot of work.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, it is.
And there's a team of us at BCSARA. I can't take all credit, but it was a project of mine, and I work closely with our PR and communications manager, Nancy Argyle, who's a wonderful, wonderful support on our team. And the rest of us on the team at BCSARA, the 6 of us in total, we hash things out just like you do. We bounce ideas off each other and sharpen each other's pencils, so that when the product's offered out to the public, is what I'm creating product for in a roundabout way, we want to make sure it's going to meet the needs for everybody. So big team effort, but it was a big job for sure.
I think there's a very timely question that just came in from GSM times 2.
Yeah.
And he's asking, where does AdventureSmart, and I think we covered earlier, the funding for AdventureSmart comes from the BC Search and Rescue Association. But maybe the question is, where does the BC Search and Rescue Association get its funding? And Scott's asking, how could people donate small amounts to help?
That's a great question, and thanks for asking. You know, I'm trying to multitask here at the same time, and
It's hard, right? That's why we have a producer.
It's not always easy. It's why we have tech support. It's why we have so much to go here. So I did it. I just sent in the donate page, but now I'll get back to the answer.
Okay.
BC AdventureSmart, and I put the BC in front of AdventureSmart just to define that for your audience tonight. Is BC is the provincial sector, and if I just said AdventureSmart, that's the national component to it. So there is that umbrella of a national piece that's just AdventureSmart. Every single province and territory has its own AdventureSmart program. So I could say Alberta AdventureSmart, we say BC AdventureSmart. What's unique about BC AdventureSmart, that's what I talk about primarily, even though I collaborate with the others and work on national stuff, is we are funded through BC SARA, BC Search and Rescue Association, and that funding comes from the province of BC through the emergency management and climate readiness sector. So that funding comes from our province down to BC SARA and over to BC AdventureSmart. So it's provincially funded, and so I report back to BC SARA, who then collectively we report back to the province, if you will, and away you go. Nationally, it's funded through Public Safety Canada, which is our federal government. So the national program, which happened, it expanded to national in about 2009. As a national program, it went to the federal government. They thought it was doing so well here in BC that it would be great to be seen across the country. And so that's provided funding through the feds, and that is managed on a national basis. And that's for the volunteer outreach. My compensation, if you will, I've been doing this for 20 years almost, is through BC SARA, through EMCR, Emergency Management and Climate Readiness. So that's where the funding comes from. I'm almost done with this little component, or I could go on and on. The funding,
well, it's
from
complicated,
that,
right?
It is a little complicated. I try to make this as clear as possible. It's very clear to me, but I've been saying it for a very long time. There is sustainable funding now. That happened in April 2022. And that was a very long process of BC SARA going to, proving to the province of BC what would be beneficial to have a sustainable funding model. Because prior to that, it was all raised either through fundraising, gaming grants, and a little bit of funding. But now, after major efforts, very, very long, lengthy years and years and years, there is sustainable funding that now comes from the province every year to BC SARA. So that's sustainable. It means that we're on the budget, Excel spreadsheet, comes over, here you go. There's still money that's needed. That doesn't mean that all search and rescue groups don't need money from their community. It does not mean that they don't have to fundraise. It does not mean that they still don't have fundraising events. They still do all of that, because every individual group costs them based on their call volume for search and rescue. So some search and rescue groups have a very high call volume. They're closer to a higher density of population, where higher call volume is a result of that. I could name a few: Coquitlam, Squamish, Lions Bay, Whistler, North Shore. These are closer to that higher density. They have a higher call volume. Their expenses are higher.
The ones that are on the news every week. Yeah.
Those ones would be the higher expensed teams. So those and the other ones that only have a few calls a year still need money to turn the lights on. Mm-hmm. I've shared the donate button back to that question. Thank you for your patience, where you can donate through the BC SARA website. And you can pick a search and rescue group you'd like to donate to, or you can identify that it's for the AdventureSmart program, BC AdventureSmart.
Okay, so you can target where your funding, your donation goes to. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very good. Well, great question, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah. Like you say, it's a little bit complicated, but you did a great job of explaining it. And if somebody has more questions, I'm sure they could reach out for more.
Mm-hmm.
So now we know how you spent your summer.
I did.
Maybe a little bookended seasons on either end, but We're looking forward to winter. You know, we mentioned just earlier tonight about the solstice coming up, the beginning of winter. What's happening this winter with BC Adventure Smart? Do you have special events, opportunities, things going on that are winter focused?
We do. We have our winter series. We just kicked it off here on November 22nd, and it's running right through until March 7th. So we have events roughly every 2 weeks, a little bit of more extension there around Christmas, but otherwise every other week we've got an event happening. There's 10 in total. And we just did an excellent one this evening. It was about trauma in the mountains. It was a very impactful event this evening. We'll have that uploaded to our BC SAR YouTube tomorrow at some point. And we're going to have everything from a subject coming on to talk about their experience of getting lost, unexpected, of course. We have Avalanche Canada coming on to talk about how you can recognize being in avalanche terrain and the decision making that's so critical and training that's required. We'll have backcountry guides coming on to talk about their perspectives. We'll have Parks Canada joining us for their perspectives, which is a big player in the outdoor rec field. We'll have BC Parks coming on to talk about their winter perspectives. And it all folds into that safety piece, right? But what I've done this year is I've invited industry affiliates and partners and supporters to come on and be our special guests. Again, there's 10 events, and you can find them at the link that I provided earlier if someone wanted to throw it up. Again, it's bcsaro.com, outdoor education, events.
There you go. Wow. You don't take time off, do you? You just keep going.
I just got back from Mexico a few days ago.
Oh,
I
okay.
took a very long overdue holiday. So,
Awesome.
and I did a webinar from Mexico. That was a first for me. So I've got to add that to my resume. Yeah.
Was it something snow related while you were in Mexico?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay,
it
good.
was, because it was for the winter series, and I had a snowy background behind me, and I was in a Mexican shirt, so I don't know if it really aligned, but it's what I had to do.
Sipping a margarita. Yeah.
I love it. Well, we certainly appreciate your dedication and your hard work. I think the Adventure Hub is going to be a fantastic resource, not only for geocachers, but anybody who wants to get outside in BC and go explore and do so safely. So,
Chris,
thank you for your efforts.
Yes. Sorry, I cut you off there. Absolutely. A couple more questions occur to me since we've got a little bit of time. So the first one I have is, we talked about how if somebody wants to have their organization represented in the Adventure Hub, how to contact. What if you have a recommendation of some other organization that you see is missing? Same process, Sandra?
Same process, yeah. If you yourself, your organization, your business wants to, fire me an email at listings@bcsaro.com. If you want to recommend or you know of another organization or business, same process. This is what makes it exciting for me now, because I did a lot of legwork to find those 450 plus to date. Now I get to invite. The door's open. So the more we do this, the more I talk about it, the more I let people know that they're welcome to reach out. We want it to grow. So if someone feels that they know someone in their community that they would like to see added to the hub, 99% of the listings are provincially based. A couple are national. Avalanche Canada would be one example. That's a national industry affiliate that has a listing for obvious reasons. But I didn't go outside of British Columbia extensively. The odd one happened to fit perfectly, but I knew it was a national entity. But we're sticking to that provincial hub gathering of listings. It would be a very onerous task to do a national hub.
To go
so
national
I'm just
or
going to stick
international.
it to BC.
So on that note, and that was my other question, was you've just answered it, which was, is this specific to British Columbia? Which makes sense. That's BC SAR's domain, and so of course, stay in your wheelhouse kind of thing. Stay in your lane. But what if somebody is listening to this podcast and they live in a different jurisdiction, Oregon, Washington, Alberta, somewhere else, and they're like, hey, this is a really cool idea. I would like to see my local search and rescue organization build something like this. How would they go about getting started?
Just give me a call. That's
All right.
that's the easiest answer I could say, versus listing the lists that we created and checked off over the months and months and months and months. I'm really fortunate to have support, financial, literal, staff, community for an annual project every year. I get to come up with and brainstorm and work with industry, community, and partners, funders even, as well, to provide an annual bigger project. If you remember, Jay, and the rest of you, our trail specific safety videos. That was one very big project, massive, biggest one yet, really. And that was an awesome annual project. The hub's another one. And I don't know what's coming next year, but there'll be another one. So I'm fortunate to be able to do that and to help the hub grow continually, but then we'll come up with new projects as well. So it's just another opportunity to support a very active, healthy community in the province of British Columbia and those that visit here. I think that might be a big piece that I touched on a little bit, but just to revisit it is people come to our province to play, don't they? They come to geocache, they come to hike, they come to be outside, they move here for this. And here's a chance to offer something as people come here to visit and live. And this is an opportunity for them to access that through the hub as well.
Very cool.
Fantastic. I love that.
Well, that definitely answers my questions I came up with. Good stuff. I know there was one other question from GSM Times 2 that came up earlier, which was asking Sandra if you've gotten out to try geocaching, if for nothing else, practicing using a GPS.
I've been too busy making the hub. Sorry. It's just been, I've been swamped in trying to find more than 450 organizations now.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Very cool. Well, some great feedback from the live audience tonight. Some really interesting stuff that you were able to share, and a fantastic site. So congratulations on the launch, and thank you for all the hard work that went into putting that together.
Our pleasure. Thanks for helping me share it. This is the fun part. This is the easy part, not going through spreadsheet after spreadsheet and reconciling phone numbers or something. This is the fun part to help everybody learn about it, and then they can check it out and get in touch if they want to learn more.
Exactly. And we'd love to have you come on and give updates or talk about your new project, your new yearly project coming up.
Sounds good.
We've got a bunch of people that like to volunteer. Maybe we can get some help for you to get some of these done. So
careful what you offer up.
I know.
Careful. I'm very good at managing volunteers. I'm very good at herding cats. So if there's cats out there that need herding, I'm very good at that.
Fantastic.
Well, Sandra, thank you so much for joining us. And folks, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
Yeah, that's right. We want to take a moment again to thank Landsharks, LANDSHARKZ.ca, and Gold Country Geotourism. Those are our two corporate Denali level sponsors. Landsharks is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They're shipping those online orders daily, and for every $25 spent, you get the trackable. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. And Sandra, is that is that on the resource site, the Explore Gold Country?
I'd have to double check, but I think it's something I'm going to do as soon as we're done here. And if it's not, guess what? There's an opportunity for it to be there.
Yeah, if it's relevant, you'll have to take a look at it and make the assessment. There you go. Very cool. All right. Well, we want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. That is, of course, Landsharks and Gold Country Geotourism, but it's also Groovy Owl, Cool Cow Cachers, and Cachly, the geocaching app. Folks, if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
Yes. Like Wet Coaster did.
And Kitty Quest.
And Wino Seattle.
And Genies.
Antaeus.
Nervous Energies.
Geocaches.
Mnerf.
Limax.
Camp Clan.
MC3 Cats.
Kid Vegas 19.
Green Words.
Alarobrick.
Mountain Bike.
Seebeck Tribe.
J Car.
Subway Mark.
CRS 98.
Segehov.
RE 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boomer 365.
I love
Oh.
when those line up.
LG 9000.
Just finding our way.
B Pendragon.
Doramore.
Flagman.
And thank you for staying seated.
Yeah.
Trexer.
You Talks to Rocks.
Peach of Washington.
Gas Station Tuna.
Kev MacD.
Logwork.
Ackerdock.
UDAC.
Just Carlo.
BC Rockcrawler.
GeoNav Pro.
Korsgott.
GSM ×2.
Skyhawker.
Team Noltex.
Thank you so much. And folks, thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like this episode, please click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. If you didn't like the show, let us know what you want to talk about. In either case, if you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a review. Now, if you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a oh boy, I got it. I don't have it tonight. Free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You can call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or, update the entry there on the Adventure Hub any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2023 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for the very quiet after show.
Quiet after show, yeah. I was there. We heard it.
Apparently, it is very quiet because there is no FATAS.
Wow.
Well, this wasn't FATAS, but Skyhawker, I think it was. Is that
Yes.
right? Said years ago when I was still flying on a flight from Boston to Amsterdam in the middle of the night over Greenland, we got to see the aurora and a comet at the same time.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It's
That would have
amazing.
been so cool from
Yeah.
30,000 feet. That would
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
very neat.
Boston to Amsterdam. That seems like quite the flight.
I'm guessing commercial piloting. Yes.
Maybe.
Not ultralight. Yes.
No, not ultralight. That's going against the jet stream. Good luck.
It's going to be a long night.
And from
Yes.
Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta,
Atlanta, PA,
LA,
Northern
California.
You guys are in sync. Oh, wait. No, you're not.
I just
That's a
think
different band.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, now we have a FATAS. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for the token FATAS, Keats. Oh, that's fun.
And with that, folks, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.